Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2016 Royal Rumble preview and predictions. And when I say Royal Rumble, it's really just kind of beating around the bush because let's be real, this is the 2016 Roman Rumble.
You know it, brother. What's going on, guys? I'm John alongside my cohort and commentary, Ashton. This is our Royal Rumble 2016 preview and predictions. And I gotta say, Ashton, before coming on here today, a thought struck me. To me, anyway, this is gotta be the first Rumble in recent memory where the undercard actually looks far more impressive than the Rumble match itself. And I think it's precisely for the reason you stated. It really is all about Roman Reigns.
So, John, I have to ask, are you planning on suing the thought that struck you?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
That's assault and battery.
Yeah, I have David Otunga on retainer. Okay, I've got this.
I just hope that he accepts your money and actually takes it to court.
I pay him in bow ties, so we got a good.
Oh, well, then you've got this under control.
Yeah, certainly. So, man, I gotta ask you, do you agree with my sentiment? I mean, do you feel like you're more jazzed up by the undercard of the show than the Rumble match itself, or where are your feelings, as a fan, in terms of your anticipation, your hype? We always grade it on a 1 to 10 scale. Where are you right now?
1 to 10 as far as hype goes?
Yeah.
7, maybe an 8?
Yeah, I would say I'm about a 7, if I'm really being honest. I think, honestly, this last week, mainly the Wyatts getting pushed to the forefront all of a sudden really did a good service to my hype. And I got to be honest, that Miz TV segment between Ambrose and Owens certainly didn't hurt matters either.
Oh, I never answered that question. You asked me if I found the undercard more interesting. I am actually 50-50 because to me, this is a 2-match card. You've got Ambrose Owens, Last Man Standing, and the Rumble match itself. Those are the 2 matches that I actually care about. There are a few other that I think will be interesting, but I'm more interested in just getting to the finish and knowing who wins than actually watching the match.
And see, to me, it's weird because the Rumble match, I'm just going to level with everybody, I really don't have much interest in. I mean, obviously, I think
I'm incredibly interested in what they're going to do with the Rumble this year, because if Roman is coming out first, they basically have 2 options. They can either have him take it all the way and win it, or he doesn't win it. And if he doesn't win it, I'm curious to see how they treat that.
Right, and that's certainly a good point.
Because I feel like if he would get to the very end, literally just make it through 28 men and then lose, it would be a massive case of blue balls.
And see, to me, Ashton, I feel like they would go that route in a kayfabe sense because they really want to make Roman come off sympathetic to casual audiences.
Yeah.
So to have a babyface fight their heart out only to still come up short, probably because of underhanded tactics, I could very easily conceive of them going that route, which is probably why, again, going back to my personal interest, it's not really there. To be honest, the 3 matches I have the greatest interest in, U.S. Championship match, definitely IC title match, which I can't wait to talk about, and honestly, the Divas Championship match. I feel like I've gotten more interest because Becky Lynch has gotten more time to talk and interact with
for me,
the champion.
The U.S. title and the Divas title are the 2 matches I was referring to when I said, the match might be decent, but I'm not really as excited for the match as I am just getting to the result and knowing who wins.
Right. And I could totally understand that, dude. So with that said, I mean, if there's anything else you want to talk about in the preliminary, we could get right into this card and really start breaking it down.
John, let's start at the top of the card. Stage 1, fight. We have our first match. Darren Young and Damian Sandow, the Dudley Boys, the Ascension, and Mark Henry and Jack Swagger in a 4-way, 8-man tag team match where the winning team gets to 2 spots in the Royal Rumble.
Yes, and I think you had the best argument for this particular team. There have been hints dropped by commentary and Mark Henry himself that this would be his last Rumble, so I think clearly they want to give him a spot as part of his send-off for having, such a lengthy career and, being one of the last standing veterans. So I do think Henry and Swagger are going to win this tag team matchup.
Okay, that is actually unanimous. As you people might know, if you've been around for over a year on my channel, we aren't doing this alone. I always invite my mom to join us because she absolutely loves the Royal Rumble and she likes to play along. So she also picked Mark Henry and Jack Swagger. So let's move on. Do you want to actually say anything about this match other than just how sad it is that Mark Henry's career is finally coming to an end?
I know. At least we'll always have that heel run, though. So, yeah.
2011, fall of 2011 into the winter, and then the beginning of 2012 was absolute gold on SmackDown.
Yeah, and a little while later, I mean, that fake retirement promo, though, like,
Yeah.
heel
Yeah. Well,
Henry's
but
gold.
I mean, if you even want to include Bryan's heel run too,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
Mark Henry had that incredible heel run from SummerSlam until TLC, and then Bryan kind of took over in his place as the top heel on SmackDown
right.
until, 17 seconds happened.
Yeah.
All
Oh, man.
right, so now let's talk about our next match. The New Day versus the Usos. Tag team championship match. And John, oh, and by the way, I did say the last one was unanimous. Just to be clear that yeah, all three of us picked Henry and Swagger to win that. But this time, I'm picking the Usos to win.
It seems like we have this debacle every time that the Usos are involved in a big match situation. I pick New Day to retain. I think I said it back at the last pay-per-view, whichever that one was, that I think New Day, I think it was TLC that, yeah, I said this. I think New Day needs to go on a dominant heel run as champions. I would love to see them put over an NXT team at Mania. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying I would like to see that happen. I want to really qualify my statements here. Still, I don't think the New Day are losing those titles until WrestleMania to give a babyface tag team a WrestleMania moment. I have Kofi pinning Jimmy Uso here. I have the New Day retaining the tag titles. So,
John, I think the biggest reason why I'm not necessarily worried about kind of setting up the whole heel team goes into WrestleMania with the title so that the face team can get a big pop is because I don't think the WWE cares enough about their tag team division to set that kind of thing up.
which is really a shame, dude, because when you look at who's spearheading it as the champions,
Right.
if there was ever a time to put that kind of effort into it, it really should be now. Because New Day, I think, do so well with the belts. But I'm standing by my logic. I say New Day retains here.
Well, you and my mom agree on this one. She also picked New Day. I'm the odd man out. I'm going with the Usos, and that's partially because I actually do think they're going to win, and partially just to kind of protect my ego.
Yeah.
Because if I pick the New Day and the Usos win, then I'm doubly sad because the New Day lost and I picked wrong.
Exactly. I can totally understand where you're coming from.
At least this way, I'm winning something, no matter what happens.
Right, right.
Yeah. So up next, we have our third match: Alberto Del Rio versus Kalisto, U.S. Championship on the line. John, I'm gonna let you go first this time.
I'll be honest with everybody. I was close to picking Del Rio here if it wasn't for that SmackDown segment where Kalisto got bullied. So I'm actually picking Kalisto to get the title back here. I think, he's going to get his comeuppance. He's going to get, his revenge on the heel Del Rio, and he's finally going to be able to go on a proper U.S. title run. So, yeah, I'm going with Kalisto here to win the rubber match.
I genuinely hope that you and my mom, who also picked Kalisto, are right, but I'm going with Alberto Del Rio.
Oh, you're going with Del Scumbag?
I am.
Oh.
I have to, because here's my thing. I do, unlike the tag titles, think that the WWE wants to create a babyface WrestleMania moment with the U.S. title.
And see, it's interesting you say that because I feel like, and we're going to get to that match later, I feel like that's more in line for where the IC championship seems to be headed. So I think you and I have
there's going to be more
puzzles.
than one big babyface moment at WrestleMania. I'm predicting
Right.
2 or 3, but I just don't think that the tag titles are going to be one of them.
Right. Okay. I can understand that.
Because if you
like
just using precedent, if you look at last year's WrestleMania, we had Daniel Bryan winning the Intercontinental Championship, big triumphant babyface moment. We had John Cena beating Rusev, big triumphant babyface moment. We had, well, if it wasn't for the fan backlash, I'm sure Roman would have beaten Brock, but fan backlash, Rollins cashed in. You get the idea. Right. I think the WWE is really kind of trying to maintain the prestige of the mid-card belts now to keep them on a same, if not close to same level as the world title. And because of that, I think that we might have all 3 of our main singles championships get one of those big kind of, heel loses to babyface at WrestleMania moments.
I totally understand the logic. I just got to ask before we move on. Do you at least feel dirty picking Alberto Del Bitchpag to win a match? Does it at least feel somewhat dirty to you, or are you feeling pretty good?
No, I feel like I need a bath.
Okay, that's
and I don't even take baths. I shower, but I feel like I need a bath just so that I can really soak in it.
Yeah, I could totally get that. But in all seriousness, man, I totally get your logic. Again, I was close to picking Del Rio myself in all sincerity. It's just, I think that, because you know that whole theory we've talked about, look good on TV but lose on pay-per-view. I think
Well,
Del Rio
that
looked
I
a
mean
little
that
too
doesn't
good.
always apply to SmackDown though. That's more of a Raw thing.
That is true. That is true. But I do think Del Rio looked a little too good. So I'm actually more confident than I thought I would be in picking Kalisto. So,
All right. Well, I guess we'll have to wait and see. It's going to be an interesting live reaction for that match. I will say that.
yeah, definitely.
Because we're
Oh,
both
yeah.
absolutely going to be pulling for Kalisto, right?
Yeah, oh, you know it, man. You know it.
Well, I always have to confirm these things with you because I never know just how into the baby faces you are.
Johnny Scumbag.
All right. So speaking of over baby faces, up next we have Charlotte versus Becky Lynch, Divas Championship, and I think this one might possibly be unanimous. John, who did you pick?
Honestly, dude, this is where I
Oh,
immediately contradict myself from the prior matchup. I say Becky Lynch wins.
oh, good, good. That is unanimous then.
Sweet. So you guys actually picked Becky Lynch going over.
All three
Wow.
of us are picking Becky Lynch to win the Divas title, which automatically means it's not happening.
I'm most surprised that you picked it, dude. I want to hear your logic behind this. What made you decide ultimately on Becky Lynch winning?
I just think that Charlotte's reign has been bad, and I feel like the sooner they get the title off of her, the better.
You know what? Good enough for me. I just feel like to try and put some logic behind my thought process, I do feel like Becky Lynch has a lot of momentum. And I do
Yeah,
feel like the whole story has been like, oh, you can't beat Charlotte when the title's on the line. She's already beaten you twice. And Becky, though,
and that's
has
another
had
reason
Charlotte
why too
beat.
is because I feel like Becky has been jerked around a lot. She's had a couple title opportunities where she could have won, should have won, whatever, that she didn't. So now it's like the third time's the charm.
Yeah, and honestly, folks, if Becky Lynch wins here, I think that really bolsters the credibility of an idea of a fatal four-way women's match for the Divas Championship, or at the very least a triple threat: Becky,
Yeah,
Sasha, Charlotte.
yeah.
So
And
yeah, Becky
plus,
Lynch is
I will
over.
also say Charlotte has held the title since September. So her
Right.
title reign is getting up there. It's been, what, 4 months now that she's had it? That's a pretty respectable reign. I think now is about the time that the WWE would be willing to take the title off of her.
I agree with you there. Absolutely.
So it's just one of those stars aligning kind of situations with this match. And if you need more proof, look no further than the fact that it was a unanimous pick between the three of us.
Yeah, and I just see the match going. I think you even kind of painted the picture on SmackDown Tweet. Wow,
15 minutes, brother.
15 minutes for one, and I think Charlotte may try and go for the figure eight, but Becky Lynch catches her in the disarmor.
I hope so.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, there you
All
go.
right. Well, we only have 2 matches left, and they're the two biggest matches on this card. Let's start with the Intercontinental Championship match. Last man standing. Kevin Owens versus Dean Ambrose. John, you've gone first twice in a row now, so I'll lift the burden off your shoulders and I'll go first this time. I picked Kevin Owens to win the title.
I did as well. Was
Another
that unanimous?
pick.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, this match is going to be amazing.
It is.
My most anticipated match on this pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And it's funny, on the Dean TV segment, and yes, I did call it that because screw the Miz, Kevin Owens said that this Sunday is going to be the Kevin Owens show. You're damn right it is, because I think with the heel work he's going to be doing in this match, people are even going to forget that there's a Royal Rumble main event. It's just going to be that good. And I see these guys putting on a clinic. And I'm just so glad to see the Intercontinental Championship get this kind of spotlight. And I think Owens is going to walk out a 2-time Intercontinental Champion.
I completely agree with you. And he even said it. He's obsessed with getting that title back. And I think that because of that obsession, there will be no means that he will stop at to get the title back, even if it means pulling a John Cena and duct taping Dean Ambrose's feet together.
Yeah, which would actually work because it's a freaking heel doing it. So There you go.
Exactly. So I'm not necessarily saying that's how I do definitely think he's going to win, but I do 100% think that he is going to quote unquote cheat. And I use hard air quotes there because how can you cheat in an ODQ contest? But I do think he's going to find a very easy to frown upon way of winning.
Right.
Whether it's like, the duct tape or doing like the King Cuerno thing where he wraps a rope around Dean's neck and like ties him to the frickin' ring post, just something that isn't necessarily incapacitating Dean for 10 seconds, but still keeping him off his feet for that time.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I honestly didn't really even put much thought into that, but you're right. I could really see Kevin Owens pulling out all the stops, even the more dubious methods,
Yeah.
to incapacitate somebody just to get the Intercontinental back, because to your point, he is that obsessed.
Yep.
So,
Absolutely. All right. Well, we have. And by the way, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I think Owens Ambrose is going to be our first WWE represented match of the year candidate.
I completely agree with you there. I co-sign onto that so readily. I think this match is going to kill it.
Yeah, because you look at the last 2 years, and I did say this on SmackDown, but I know that not all of our viewers watch our SmackDown reviews, so I'm going to say it again here. Last year, the WWE's best match of the year, in our opinion, was Daniel Bryan, I'm actually skipping ahead or behind it here. It was the triple threat, Seth Rollins, Brock Lesnar, and John Cena at the Royal Rumble. The year before that, it was Daniel Bryan versus Bray Wyatt, also at the Royal Rumble. The WWE has, for 2 years in a row, had incredible matches of the year at the Royal Rumble pay-per-view that weren't the Royal Rumble match, and I think that this is going to be that match this year.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, brother. I think this match is going to blow everything else, on the card just out of the water. And I think these two guys are going to take both their babyface and heel game, respectively, to another level. So I'm excited.
Now, that being said, one match left to predict. Get the big explosion, the big elephant in the room out of the way first. John, who is winning the Royal Rumble?
I have Triple H winning the Rumble, and before anybody asks, I hate myself for saying it, because I have been Brock Lesnar the whole time, but I'm really starting to see the writing on the wall here. I think Triple H is going to walk away with the title.
All right, well, before I tell you my pick, my mom picked Roman Reigns to win.
Okay.
And I also picked Roman Reigns to win.
Oh! So you really think Roman Reigns is going to overcome those odds?
I think Roman Reigns is going to win the Royal Rumble. And then after the smoke has cleared, the streamers have been wiped out of the ring, and Roman is finally starting to come down from his winning high, you'll hear Triple H's theme song, and he'll challenge Roman to a singles match immediately, in which he'll win the title.
And see, I'm actually kind of glad you said that, because now I feel like you'll be less irritated with me when I tell you this. I'm still sticking by what I told you either in conversation or on a tweet. Well, I see Triple H being the quote-unquote 31st entrant. I see Roman Reigns clearing the ring, and then they're like, oh, we have one more entrant after all. Triple H's music hits, he eliminates Roman, and that's how he wins.
See, but that doesn't make sense to me. I think if Triple H is going to be the last man, have him be number 30. If not, do what I'm saying and have Roman win the Rumble, and then Triple H challenges him to a singles match afterwards. There's not going to be a 31st entry.
Well, see, and to me, I know you've been saying
unless you're just saying proverbial 31st.
I mean, might as well. I mean, dude, to me, I know you've been saying it doesn't make sense, but it's the authority. It's their rules, it's their structure.
Yeah, but the authority has been around for 2+ years now, and they've never done anything like that before.
Well, who's to say it wouldn't
stop? They're not going to change a traditional match just to kind of suit themselves.
I think they hate Roman that much, and now that Vince McMahon's involved in the mix too.
That's why I'm saying, though, I think Triple H is going to come out and it's going to be a singles match rather than an addition to the Rumble.
See, it's funny because you and I both have Triple H coming out just very different ways of doing it. Yeah. I think extra addition to the Rumble. I have to. I can't really see any other way. Because really, why even expend the energy of trying to pin him when that could go south when all you have to do is throw him over the top rope? I think that's an easier task than trying to pin him for 3 seconds.
Because throwing someone over the top rope, there's too much risk involved in that. There's the possibility that Roman catches him, whereas if it's an actual pinfall, an exhausted Roman isn't going to find a way to pin Triple H, who's fresh.
Watch him prove us both wrong and win no matter what the circumstances are.
Well, that's obviously a possibility. But to me, if I'm Triple H and I want to screw Roman over, first of all, I'm going to wait and see if I even need to screw him over in the first place, because there's a distinct possibility he doesn't win the Rumble. Now, granted, you and I both think that in this situation, after the first 30 men, Roman will have won the Rumble, right?
Right.
But if he doesn't, then there's no reason for Triple H to worry about coming out. If he does, he, in his mind, realizes if I go out there and I just try and add myself to the Royal Rumble and I go after him and he just kind of spins me around and throws me over the top rope, it's over. But if we make it a match, all I have to do is kick him in the stomach, hit him with a pedigree, and it's over because of how exhausted he is. He's been out here for an hour. Oh, that too. He's probably going to break Rey Mysterio's record for the longest amount of time in a Rumble. But otherwise, or on the other hand, if Roman wants to beat me in an actual match, he's going to have to muster up everything because he's been in this for so long. He's so exhausted. You know, even if he hits me with a spear, it's going to be weak. Like, if you're Triple H, you would rather force Roman Reigns to pin you to beat you than allow for the possibility of him just kind of accidentally, like, tripping into, falling, and throwing you over the top rope.
See, and don't get me wrong, everything you're saying is very coherent to me, very logical to me. I don't see them doing all that kind of work. I think they'd stay with the Royal Rumble structure and just be like, oh, ha ha, got another entrant here, throw him over
to
the
me,
top rope and win.
it's like 2010 Batista. After the Elimination Chamber, John Cena's exhausted, Batista comes out, he gets a match. Or, you know, it's almost like a Money in the Bank sort of in a way. But obviously it's Triple H, so he doesn't need a freaking briefcase because he's going over, damn
it. Yeah, exactly. That should be our sequel shirt. He's going over, damn it! But there you go. Yeah, man. So we both agree. Like, I mean, your mom, kudos to her sticking out to the bitter end. You know, with Roman Reigns, just completely no caveats added to that. But very interesting how that works out.
So you have Triple H winning the Rumble.
Yes.
That's a really good introduction to Stage 2 Fight, because our Stage 2 of our Rumble predictions game is our weighted predictions exclusively centered around the Rumble match itself. And now, ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first ever Royal Rumble with TwitWow, first of all, welcome to the channel. Have a seat, take your jacket off, get comfortable. It's pretty great here. Second of all, we like to go a little bit further in the Royal Rumble match with our predictions. We don't just predict the winner. We also predict who we think is going to be in the Final Four, who's going to have the most eliminations, who's going to last the longest, who's going to get eliminated the fastest, who's going to be the first person to be eliminated, who's going to be the last person to be eliminated, and finally, we normally try and predict who will be the first two entrants in the Rumble, but this year, because we already know who's number one, we're going to be guessing who is number two, and who will mix it up with Roman Reigns for the first 90 seconds of this Rumble. So, John, let's just kind of slowly work our way through this. Because we have 11 categories, we assign a point value to each one of these predictions based on how confident we are. So, for example, if you think that Roman Reigns is going to get eliminated within the first 90 seconds of this Rumble, and you're so confident in that there's no doubt in your mind, frickin' Brock is going to come out at number 2 and he's going to destroy Roman Reigns and eliminate him in 20 seconds, you would put an 11 for Roman Reigns lasting the least amount of time because you're that confident. On the other hand, if you don't have any clue who the first person eliminated is going to be, and you're just throwing a name out there and you're going to pick, oh, I don't know, frickin' Big E, and you're just completely clueless, you would assign a confidence value of 1 to that prediction because you just don't know. So John and I went through, we made our predictions, and now we're about to let everybody know what we think of the Roman Rumble 2016, brother.
Yeah, I think this is my best point allocation year ever. I was finally confident in knowing what I was doing for once. So I'm
so happy. I hope that you're right. I hope that I can't pick any logical holes in your picking here.
I really don't think you can. So I guess, do you want me to start?
Well, we already know who we picked for our winners. I picked Roman, you picked Triple H. So what we really just need to tell each other for that is how confident we were. And I gave Roman winning a 9 on my confidence scale.
And I gave Triple H all 11 of my points. I'm that confident he's winning. So
immediately we have a logical fallacy, but we'll get into that later.
Well, yeah, I know what you're going to say, but yeah, I already explained myself, so I think it all works out.
Yeah. All right, so Final Four. Let's just kind of, bounce back and forth. Oh, and by the way, my mom also gave Roman winning a 9 on her confidence value. So let's just kind of bounce back and forth here. Since I said Roman first and you said Triple H second, I'm going to let you go first for your first member of your Final Four other than your winner? And actually, before we even do that, tell me how much confidence you assign your winner being in the Final Four.
Well, again, I didn't even Triple H, because of the way I said he was going to win, being an extra entrant. I don't even have him in my Final Four, so he wasn't.
Okay, I see what you're doing now. I gotcha.
Yeah. So the first member of my Final Four, though, since we're only doing it one at a time, Roman Reigns, I gave that 10 points. So
I also have Roman with 10 points in my Final Four.
Okay, so then I'll go again. Second member of my Final Four, Brock Lesnar, with 9 points.
I also have Brock Lesnar in my Final Four. However, I gave him 8 points.
Okay, third member of my Final Four, Bray Wyatt, I gave him 8 points.
Okay, my third member in my Final Four, and I was kind of iffy about this, but I feel like Bray is going to kind of be what makes the first half of the Rumble interesting and then get eliminated by like Roman or Brock or whoever. So my third member of my Final Four is Sheamus, and I assigned him 6 points.
Nice. In fact, you know what? Honestly, I do hope he kind of does that well in the Rumble. He's been so diluted lately. It'd be nice to see him have that kind of a performance. But this is where it gets interesting, because my fourth member in my Final Four, to round it out, AJ Styles, and I gave this 7 points. So I think his debut Rumble, he's going to go to distance and be a part of the Final Four. So
we don't even know for sure if he's going to show up.
Yeah, no, I'm taking a gamble here.
He's not officially announced for the Rumble. There's a very distinct possibility that because him debuting at Rumble got out, he might just debut on the Raw afterwards anyway. You're still going with Styles.
I'm still going with Styles for a whopping 7 points.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, my fourth member, I only gave 5 points to, and I went with Rusev because we got to get 2 members of the League of Nations out there for Roman and Brock to fight off.
Hey, it would make perfect sense. I mean, last year he was in the final 2, so, I could totally buy that.
Exactly. I think that Rusev is going to look strong. I almost picked Del Rio, but then I realized it's probably not going to happen because he does have a match earlier on in the night.
Right.
So, all right. Well, we had you go first for that set, so I'll go first for the next one. Most eliminations, Brock Lesnar with 7 points.
This is most eliminations now, you said?
It is, yep.
Okay, most eliminations. This is more interesting for me. I have Bray Wyatt, but I only gave him a point value of 4 points. So, okay. Yeah.
I'm pretty confident in Brock getting the most eliminations here. Just to kind of recap, my mom's Final Four was Roman, Brock, Triple H, and Big Show.
Because he's a giant!
Yeah, and she assigned Roman a value of 11, Brock 8, Big Show 7, Triple H 5. And she agrees with me that the most eliminations will be Brock Lesnar. However, she only gave him 6 confidence points.
Okay.
So you're battling uphill there because you got 2 people saying Brock and you're the only one saying Bray.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
All right, so up next, who is going to last the longest? I think this is the easiest one because we already know he's coming out at first, and all 3 of us have him in our Final Four. So how many points did you give Roman Reigns?
6.
I gave him all 11. Roman lasting the longest is the thing that I am the most confident about.
That's interesting, because I don't know if we've had, since we've done this game, a category, like, other than the winner or whatever, where you've given, like, a full 11 points. That's a very interesting category to put all of your chips behind. I like that.
Well, I think that's the logical pick, right? Because all 3 of us agree Roman's going to be in the Final Four. So unless some combination of Brock Lesnar, Bray Wyatt, Sheamus, AJ Styles, Rusev, Triple H, or Big Show comes out in the first, 2 or 3 entrants, then Roman will have to last the longest, right?
Yeah, you would certainly have to think so, man.
Because we already know that he's coming out first.
Right, he's coming out first, and, I mean, we all expect him to go to distance. I mean, hell, some in this group are even picking him to just win the whole thing, within the confines of the Rumble. Right. So, yeah, makes perfect sense. Okay,
so now, who do you think is going to be the least amount of time? Who's going to get in there and just pull a frickin' Warlord or Santino Marella or Titus O'Neil last year, get in and get eliminated the least amount of time spent in the Royal Rumble this year?
I'm going to say, because of the gag that preceded it, I said Curtis Axel, but I wasn't very confident. I only gave it 2 points.
That's amazing. You actually have the exact pick there as my mom. She also went with Axel for 2.
Wow. That's really something.
And another crazy thing is all 3 of us made this our 2-pointer. I gave mine Xavier Woods for 2 points.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't really have a great explanation for that. I just feel like they're not really concerned with keeping Woods strong, and he's athletic enough to be able to pull off a fast elimination. And they tried breaking that record last year with Titus, but because he's so kind of clunky and not great as far as coordination goes, he didn't really pull it off.
Right.
I think Woods might be their guy.
Yeah, that makes sense to me, man.
All right, so now, who is going to be the first person eliminated?
And see, it's funny because we were just talking about him. I said Titus O'Neil to be the first eliminated, but I only gave that 1 point.
Nice.
So
my mom picked Bo Dallas for 3 points, and I went with Stardust for 1 point.
Nice.
I don't know why. I just have a feeling Stardust is going to be like 3 or 4 maybe, and he's going to get eliminated very quickly, and I'll explain that further when I tell you who my number 2 entrant is going to be.
Okay.
For now, though, I'm going to tell you who my last eliminated person is going to be, and oddly enough, I'm picking Sheamus to be the last person eliminated because I foresee shenanigans with the League of Nations.
You know what? Again, makes sense to me. I think League of Nations, they've been diluted in recent weeks, but I think they're going to be looking to come back strong in a big way.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to really try and have a monopoly on the Rumble. For me, I'll keep it short and sweet. My last eliminated was Roman Reigns. I gave 5 points to that prediction. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Just to be clear, my mom thinks that Triple H will be the last person eliminated.
Okay. How many points did you give that? I'm curious.
4.
Okay.
I gave Sheamus 3, just to, keep up. Now, finally, the last pick here, number 2. Who will be the number 2 entrant? John, do you want to go first, or should I here?
I want to go first only because I find it hilarious. Our preceding category, last eliminated, you gave Sheamus and a point value of 3. That's my exact combination for number 2 entrant. I think Sheamus is going to come in number 2, and I gave 3 points to that.
Wow.
My logic behind that, and I know it may seem a little shoddy, but I think if you're the Authority, you're going to want to stack the deck against Roman immediately.
So you think that 2, 3, 4, and 5 are going to be the League of Nations?
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly. I really wouldn't. I could see Sheamus number 2, and then, just starting to stack the deck early. Nice. I mean, as early as possible. So, Sheamus number 2, and I gave 3 points to that.
Remember a couple years ago when we thought the Shield was going to be 1, 2, and 3?
I know. Good times, man. The Shield isn't even a thing.
I know. My mom picked Jack Swagger as the number 2 entrant, and she only gave that 1 point. My pick, though, and the reason why I'm picking Stardust, who I'm just kind of projecting to be number 3, as my first eliminated, I think Dean Ambrose is going to be the number 2 entrant.
Oh, interesting.
You talk about the Authority wanting to screw with Roman. You're picking the bad guys. I'm picking the one guy that he doesn't want to eliminate.
Because not only, when you not want to eliminate Ambrose is probably going to be hobbling in that ring after that last man standing match.
Because he will have lost the last man standing match. So Ambrose might even be a little visceral in this first 90 seconds with Roman.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I really like your logic there, brother. I kind of want to see it now, to be honest. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and that's why, because I think that those two guys are going to kind of go at it a little bit. Maybe it'll start as like a friendly, why don't you just go over the top rope, and no, why don't you go over the top rope, and then maybe like a shove, and then they'll start punching each other and beating each other up. But then as soon as the next person comes out, they're like, okay, we're on the same page. Let's eliminate this fool. And for some reason, I feel like it's going to be Stardust.
Yeah, okay. I'm picking up all that, man. That sounds great.
I honestly might even want to make my shortest lasting Stardust too, because he wouldn't last very long against those two guys if they have a united front.
Oh no, they'll pick him apart. So yeah.
All right. Maybe he lasts like 15 seconds, and then Woods gets eliminated in like 1 later on.
Yeah. What's so funny? Can I just say, I didn't mean to cut you off, Ashton, but I just found it humorous. Like, we just gave the breakdown of how we feel the Rumble's going to go, how it's going to be structured, and the self-touted biggest threat, Chris Jericho, he wasn't in any of our factors whatsoever. So
you want to know why, John?
Why is that?
To quote Roman Reigns, because he's irrelevant.
Yes. Oh, man. Yeah, this is a lot of fun. Definitely my ballsiest pick had to be AJ Styles in his very first Rumble already being in the Final Four for 7 points. So I'm curious how that'll shake
If
out.
he was somehow confirmed to be in the Rumble, I probably would have had him in my Final Four over Rusev. But I made a promise to myself this year not to make any picks that aren't already confirmed to be in the Rumble, because that's bitten me way too much in the past.
Yeah, there you go, Ashton. Learning from those mistakes. Antithetical completely to me.
Yeah,
So
last year we put so many points on Randy Orton and Sheamus being in the Rumble, and neither one of them were. And the year before that, it was Bryan, and it just, no, I'm not doing it again.
Womp, womp, womp.
And that's exactly why I didn't have Triple H as any of my picks either, because he's not confirmed.
It's going to confound so many people when I have Triple H winning and he's nowhere to be found in my Final Four. Like, what? And then I'm just going to be like, well, he's going to heal it up. So there you go.
Yeah, so he's Final Four in the sense that the Final Four will be, you know, the 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th people.
Yeah.
But he's in your Final Four in the sense that he'll be one of the last people in the Rumble.
Yeah. And then God said 31.
That was amazing. Can I just say? That was exceptional.
Oh, yeah, this is a lot of fun, man. And I'm actually glad, again, considering my logic going into each pick, I actually got my point values right this year. So, yay me. We all won.
How about that?
Yeah, we all won this year. Good stuff.
That's awesome.
Anything else you want to say, man?
We only have one more announcement to make.
Okay.
And that announcement is our Rumble lottery picks.
So, yes.
We did a little bit of a draft. We always do this. And what we do is we kind of treat it, if you're familiar at all with fantasy football, we treat it like a snake draft, where we used random numbers to determine who would be first, second, and third. And then whoever went first picked, second picked, third picked twice, then second, then first twice, back and forth like that, right? So my numbers, and I'm going to say them in order because I'm not trying to bounce all around the place. My numbers are 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, 23, and 29. My mom was the smart one out of the three of us, because she picked number 1 immediately because she believes Roman's going to win. Number 30, just in case. And then just for the filling out the in-between, she got 2, 3, 5, 7, 19, 24, 26, and 28. Now, John, do you want to read your numbers off?
Yes, and I'll try and do them in order like you did as a common courtesy for our audience here. I have 4, 13, 14, 17, 18, 20, 22, 20, 20, 21, 22, 25, 27. I believe that's how my numbers shake out.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
All right, well, it's hard to believe, but the Rumble is here, brother.
Yeah, man. Yeah, road to WrestleMania. Here we go.
Yeah, road to...
Yeah, road to Reigns Mania.
WrestleRainia.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes, that's it.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a lot of fun. If you guys would like to join in on our first 2 stages, because unfortunately you can't really do the old draft that we did because there's a finite number of picks in the Rumble. But if you would like to join in with us on the first 2 stages, where you pick each match, and then in stage 2 you pick all of these little categories for the Rumble itself and assign confidence points, feel free to add a comment down below telling us your picks, because I mean, we would be happy to acknowledge whoever wins during a commentary, probably even during the post-Rumble Raw episode of TwitWow.
Yeah, I would love to see you guys' participation in this. I think it could be a lot of fun, so get in on the first 2 stages. Royal Rumble tomorrow night is going to be insane. If for no other reason, our live reactions, which always elevate the Rumble every year. I cannot wait.
Absolutely. That being said, guys, we will see you for our Royal Rumble. I'm sorry, I apologize. Our Roman Rumble live reactions. Okay, that was glorious. He doesn't do that anymore. What's up with that?
I feel like he did it recently. Did he give
He
it
doesn't
up?
do it as much, at least.
Oh, no wonder he lost my heart.
He's too busy cocking that fist and making it rain.
All of my nepotism to this hand.
I wonder how many of his spirits are going to die on Sunday.
You're gonna have to do the countdown like you did at TLC.
Yep, he already lost he already lost Peter Maivia and Rocky Johnson, and I think Rikishi was one of them. I think he still has the Wild Samoans, and we were trying to decide whether the Usos count, but we'll figure that out tomorrow. Live reactions to the Roman Rumble, baby.